Hey, welcome. It's the Eglinton West Papa podcast featuring the old heads talking basketball. I'm Clifton Joseph, and next to me, as always, is my trusted buddy right here, basketball legend Michael Solomon. Michael, good evening. How you doing?
I'm good, man. How you keeping?
Not too bad at all. You seem to be frozen on the screen here. So I just see you in that beautiful hoodie you have on. What is that hoodie while you try to get your camera together? Tell us about that hoodie you got on there.
This is called Balling with Flair. It's a new artwork of mine on a hoodie.
All right. You're still frozen, but let's move on. Michael, the Raptors are not.
That's crazy. Huh?
No, you're good. You're good now. You're good. Michael, the Raptors lose to the Oklahoma Thunder 113 to 103 to move to 18 to 29. They are 11 games below 500. It looks like the tank, for those of you who might not be as familiar with basketball terminology, tank is when you deliberately lose in order to get a better seeding in the draft. I don't know how the Raptors are going to do with that because there are a lot of bad teams in the East and in the West too. Michael, it was a seminal night, a career night for Gary Trent Jr. We just got recently for Norm Powell. 31 points, a career high. He exhibited a lot of flair. I like to see what he's doing. I think he's a keeper. And he so reminds me of the guy he replaced, Norm Powell, because he's go at it. He try to break down the big guys in the middle. And he has some of Norm's flaws from a few years ago. Inability to finish at times, he can break down the defense, but a number of times he gives up shots that he shouldn't make because he hasn't mastered the art of finishing. What did you see about Gary Trent Jr. tonight that gives you some kind of pause for celebration in the midst of the mayhem where the Raptors have taken us, Michael, back to them old days where you're just scared watching the Raptors because they're just going to mess it up and lose?
Well, Gary Trent Jr. is he's a very good basketball player. He's got the spunk, he's got the moves, he's got the attitude to play well regardless of the game. I mean, you can see him playing like this with a 100% functioning OG and those other guys. We will be in good position if this is the way he can play on a regular basis. But the Raptors just stunk out the house tonight.
Talk about some of the stinkers.
But the thing is this: it's the lack of effort. I know OKC, on the other hand, those young guys, I mean, these guys, a lot of these guys were playing together for the first time on the floor like that.
Look, Michael, I didn't recognize any of the names on OKC tonight. They're missing some of their best players in especially Gilgeous Alexander, our Canadian point guard there, who's excellent. So Laurie didn't play tonight also. They say there's a lingering foot problem. We still don't have a Bambry with the troops, Bambry and Watson Jr., who is still, I assume, on the COVID protocol. Yeah. But Michael, what's the rest of these games left for? Because we're definitely not going to win much. I'm even giving up.
I wouldn't say that, Clifton. The Raptors have been in a sort of an upheaval of late. From all the COVID protocols and whatnot, and they haven't really come together. We saw that game at the end of the last night of the draft of the trade deadline.
Oh yeah, they beat up on Denver Nuggets. You mean the Denver game?
Yeah, you saw how well we played that game.
That was a sublime game, Michael. It was a perfect coda for Lowry leaving and Norm. We knew at the time, but they played almost a perfect game. That was a joy to watch. It was basketball in motion, poetry in motion.
Yeah, and basically only one man has gone from that team right now, right? So come on,
three technically, because we lost Terrence Davis and we lost Matt Thomas.
That's true. That's true. Say 2 men are gone. You know, we have what it takes. It's about coaching. Right now, it's about coaching. You see how motivated the OKC guys were, those kids were?
Yes.
That's how motivated we have to get. They were happy to be out there, and they were determined not to lose.
Our bench, not so much, because our bench guys came out. I mean, Stanley Johnson maybe did something, but you didn't see even half of the enthusiasm that the OKC exhibited. You didn't even see half of that enthusiasm from the Raptors in terms of the bench players and so on. And also, there wasn't much movement of the ball. There wasn't that sense of let's move the ball, let's play as a team, trusting your thing. It came down to, well, let's see what OG can do on Anobi. Let's see what Fred can do. Let's see what Pascal can do. And let's see what Gary Trent Jr., who just got into the club of 4, apparently these days, what they can do. And you lose sense of what we know this coach is supposed to be. He's supposed to put ragtag combination of players together for a specific gig, shut down the opposing team's best 2 players, defense. Where is the Raptors? Who are these imposters?
He's supposed to do what OKC did tonight. Those guys were motivated and they played well. These imposters, like you said, there's some trouble in Raptor-land, Clifton. Clearly, because there's no kind of chemistry here, but we know it's there. We know it's not lost. It just takes the right person to bring it out, right? So there's going to be some big changes in Toronto, man, because we need a coach who can get control of these guys and make them play up to their potential.
Mike, that is incendiary. That is like you dropping TNT. That's you like using nitroglycerine. That's like you being Django in the old Western thing where they bring out that Gatling gun. You're like shooting, baby, shooting. Are you saying to me that you've lost confidence in Night Nurse Nick, our coach, and you think that maybe he's lost the room? And maybe that the Raptors brass may be thinking that it's time to let go our coach of the year?
No, I didn't say all of that. But right now, I've lost confidence in how he's coaching. He's not coaching the way he coached when he came in. He's just, Raptors shouldn't be this bad. We've got the talent here. You know, look at the last, like I said, you know, the draft deadline game when they played out of their heads. They just play so smooth and beautifully. You know, we can do that. That they should be playing that every day in the locker room. You know, they should be going over that game over and over to see what is it that they did so well to keep on doing it.
I myself, Michael, have always been a proponent of a 10-man lineup in the regular season, including at the best of times what we've seen here, and we've been maybe pampered with it for too long, a bench mob, a hockey lineup where you say, here, 5 starters out, 5 backups in.
Yeah, but you know what? So you keep talking about this bench mob, but you know, it's not something that works in basketball. You know, basketball is a much more dynamic game when it comes to that kind of stuff. You can't just put 5 guys and say, hey, go do it. You can do that in high school.
Okay. We did it before. I beg to differ.
There are certain times where it's appropriate. You know, it could work at certain times, but as a rule, it doesn't work.
All right, let me give you that, for instance.
It's just about coaching. You know, it's like motivating your guys the right way at the right time to win the game.
And let me
like Shea Gilgeous-Alexander on the sideline.
Yes.
The enthusiasm of those guys out there, man, they might as well have had the whole arena there.
It was impressive. It was absolutely impressive.
Put guys up, they're pulling for them. Those guys were performing above their normal base, I think.
So if not,
I want to poach Brown from.
Hey, leave Masai Ujiri's job alone and Ben Webster's jobs alone. You want to be
somebody's stepping, man. When you see such nice young talent all over the place, why don't we have one?
True.
What did Bain shoot tonight? 0 for something, or what did he shoot?
0. He did about nearly just under 20 minutes, 0 points.
Yeah, like we look small out there too. We look very small.
Even when Baines is in there and Boucher is in there, we look small.
Yeah, yeah. Baines is small. He's a small player. If he's a 7 foot, I say he plays like he's 6'8".
And speaking of 6'8", I'm taller than Fred VanVleet and Lowry and Flynn, three of our 3-point guards. Now we're seeing the problems with the 2 small guards. So with Fred and whoever else, Fred has had problems with any team that have some bigs in the middle. All they do is just put 3 bigs in the middle. And he has problems all night getting in there. And anybody shorter than 6'5", 7" have a problem with that, right? So are we seeing the end of our small ball lineup in terms of in terms of the guards?
No, we haven't. If you have the right spacing, he can go in and do his thing like he would like to. But nobody's afraid of our shooting tonight. Let's collapse it down. Let's let them shoot their shot. They shot themselves out. Let's just go with them. But
we also did what
those young guys do me how I like to do people.
You have a point there with the coach, man. Because what I was saying, going back to that whole bench mob thing, is that okay? Forget the bench mob, but okay, show me where you're giving 8 to 10 guys regular play, so we know what we got on the bench. You know what I mean? And you know when to plug people in, that you give them a little bit. You don't leave the droughts. Like, how many games have we not seen Watanabe? He's a tall dude, 6'8".
Yeah, but I mean, at this time, as we after
try to win, we try to win the championship.
Have time to do that, to show that kind of a team effort, because everybody's not up to par yet,
But that's what I'm saying. Look, everybody will not everybody.
Time, but they need to play basketball meanwhile.
Yes, but if you're not given some regular juice, some regular minutes, you come in, you got to climatize. We got 2 new players, by the way, in Trent Jr. and in Hood. By the way, where was Hood? Did he get injured or what?
He played a short while, I think.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on there. But what I'm saying is that use your players so that when an opportunity comes up like these young, hungry guys on OKC tonight, that's what I'm talking about. That when you get on there, through a combination of coaching and you being comfortable and knowing that you have a free reign, you won't be just yanked off if you make a mistake, but that you know who to plug people in terms of your opponents and so on. So again, that's what I'm seeing as a flaw in the coach and the coaching approach.
Yes, it is a coaching flaw. Every team I've ever played for, the person that you look up to, that you look towards, the person that motivates you, the person that you want to follow them wherever they're going is the coach. He has to be that dynamic personality that has the knowledge that you respect, to listen to what he says and go and do it. But
and Michael, to stay there with your expertise and experience in basketball in this country here, and of course your knowledge after that and before, when you're losing like this, and the locker room has a way of either getting together or fracturing, more likely, right? Where one scenario is that the established good players set up a little club, meaning that give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball, hero ball, basically. So I think
that's just a recipe for disaster.
So, okay, so what do you suggest now in the locker room? Now, we've talked about the coach and some of his misgivings over the last number of games and how he's kind of exposing himself, So what of the players then? What about leadership in the locker room that we hear about so often? What is the kind of leadership are you looking for in the locker room and exhibited then on the floor?
Well, you know what? The players need to have a meeting and really come together as.
Oh man!
No, I'm not.
A players only meeting. Oh shit, Michael! That's
that come together and air out whatever they got going on that's not making things work. They need to come together, and then the coaches come in. That's something that's done on the regular. That's not anything new or extraordinary. Teams do that. The players have their meeting. They and then the coaches might come in and you have a session trying to fix things up, pick people up, man. See where the problem is. we need to do all kinds of stuff. We need all kinds of interventions.
So realistically, Michael, you've always been a proponent, me too, though I'm definitely slipping away from it, slipping into darkness, if you will, that the Raptors were going to make the playoffs, that they would, I was saying they'd be 5th or 6th in the East before all of this mayhem went down. Even when they were down in the beginning, 2-10, whatever, I still believe that they could do it. And the kind of camaraderie and the talent we have, but now, Michael, I'm jumping off of that ship, baby. I'm getting more skeptical by every loss that we're going to get to even maybe making it do in the playoff, the play-in.
I don't have any fears of us not making the playoffs, to tell you the truth, Clifton. I just know that we have to go through these first few games after the trades, you know, because it takes a while for a team to come together. We're almost like a new team. With the key players that are in the new draftees are playing key roles, right? So it takes some chemistry to get that going. They got to find ways to.
Mr. Solomon, this is a truncated season of 72 games. There are only about 25 games. There are only about 25 games left, Michael. So when are they going to ramp it up? The Raptors are 11 on the 500. That's 11 games just to get to 500. We're 11th in the East.
They gotta get going now, man. You know, I was looking back. It was fun. I saw Masai talking the other day after the draft, after the trade deadline, and realizing that when Serge left, that was almost like the end, because that was like such a key big man, one that has a reputation around the league, you know, one that brings respect to Toronto, gone, right? And I think when those big men left, that was it, man. I'm worried. I'm worried about the team. I'm worried about where they're going, how fast they can fix things.
Me too.
Because that's what we need is a surge. Right? That surge right now.
A surge, a JV. In fact,
we were thinking about Clifton to come in and help. We weren't even thinking of a surge caliber kind of big man.
No.
Just a big man that could come and, you know, play some defense, not worry about the scoring so much.
Put your hands up in front, under the basket, just like
have some body push, be rough and tough, and you know. Well, Raptors are in. They look like they're rebuilding right now, man. That's what it looks like to me. This looks like a rebuilding effort now.
Well, they usually want to not acknowledge that. They usually say retooling, or some of these stooges in the media will say they're retooling. But I think we're somewhere between both of those, Michael. So what we've talked about the players, we've talked about the coach in terms of him slipping. What about the GMs and them? What about the brass? What about Ujiri, Masai, and Ben Webster? Like, what are they doing not right?
I can't say about that. There's I don't have that kind of knowledge of the whole league to say that they're not doing this.
Well, do you have a knowledge of the coaching?
What I can say is that they've been too asleep in this whole transition phase, man. We should have expected Toronto to have done a whole lot more at this point.
Yep.
You know, I expected them to come at least rescue us with a big man or something, but their lack of haste to do that makes me feel like, hey, maybe they're not as hopeful as I am.
And not only that, Michael, it gets the Raptors fan base even more paranoid because Masai Ujiri has not signed his contract.
Yeah.
He is
one at the press conference. One of the journalists asked that question. You know, he hasn't signed it. When is he going to be signed? You know, he says he'll answer that question right now, and he answered the question, but just to answer the question, not to say when.
Yes, of course. And he said he's got, Lawi said he's going to be a Raptor for life. Now Masai is telling us that he has Raptors in his veins. So, I mean, sorry, you know, I mean, I don't buy all of those mellifluous terminologies from players and GMs and so on. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's a business, and you'll take most times the best deal available to you, and you'll leave that team that you had so much loyalty for. You know what I mean? So again,
I can see him being in that position. Really,
he is in that position.
Yeah.
Because, dude, what is he waiting on? I mean, MLSC, the owners of the Raptors, certainly would have given him the town, and the mayor would give him the key to the city.
But it hasn't happened. I don't think it will happen. I don't think that's where Toronto is. But he might not be here that long himself. I mean, we don't know.
Do you think they have to pony up and give him an actual part ownership, or 1% at least, symbolically in the team? Washington was offering him a part of their team. New York, I believe, was willing to offer him a part of their team. So at least we know market-wise, value-wise, that there are teams out there who want him and would give him a little piece of ownership. Mm-hmm. Is that what the Maple Leaf got to do, you think, to sports and entertainment got to do to maybe keep Masai?
If I was Masai, I would love that.
Me too.
Masai should have shown us a lot more at the trade deadline.
It's like he's an autopilot, even before the trade deadline.
We haven't heard much from him since the new season started, really. He's this is like just a cruising year for the Toronto, it seems. But I don't want the coach to take on that attitude. I want the coach to take on a winning attitude and push these guys to win and be champions.
Because we still have to maintain a winning culture, even though we're losing.
Yeah.
So
that people want to come to Toronto. They come here, they see the nightlife and all that kind of stuff. They see it's the third largest city in North America. They realize there's someplace that's special, right? So I'm not concerned about us getting players to come here so much, but the Raptors got to play right for that to happen, man.
So what are you expecting then in terms of being your most optimistic in terms of what you think will happen or should happen in terms of the Raptors' approach to these remaining 25 or so games in the season? Because right now, Michael, the NBA came up with a system where the 7th to the 10th in the conference will go through a couple of games to see which 2, 7, and 8 they pick. The Raptors are now outside of that even. They're 11th. So the more they lose, the more they slip down, not just from the 4th, 5th, or 6th that we thought, but now they might be slipped out of even the play-in, which is more embarrassing.
I don't think that's going to happen, Clifton. I think they'll be part of the playing. And if they're part of the playing could be the thing to get them to play into being better. They need all that adversity. They need to be struggling now. They were the champions 2 years ago, right? So sometimes you need to have some bad time to really realize what it is and to pull yourself up and give it the right effort that the city deserves.
What are you struggling with, Michael? For me, and I think a lot of old heads who've been with the Raptors from day one and seen all kind of terrible nights and days where you're hoping that insert your failed Raptor there would be our savior. What's been disconcerting for me is that the last number of games, I find myself having a flashback, to those days where we were always shaky about the Raptors and what they're doing. And I don't like that feeling, Michael. So I don't know what they got.
I agree with you. I agree with that feeling. I have that feeling myself. I try to shake it off for the Cubs,
Dig. What do we do? What do we do to get that monkey back off of our back? Because it looks like a little bit of that monkey has gotten on our back. How do we shake that monkey off of our back?
Hey, man, you know what? And we're in such a funky time, with this pandemic and the Raptors playing without a real home team, without a real home base and all that kind of stuff. It's
they miss Jurassic Park, do they?
Oh man, we couldn't do Jurassic Park because that'd be another wave as we're headed into right now, right? So this thing is amazing, man. It's messing up a whole lot of things. So you know what? I'm glad I just spoke about that because sometimes we speak about the basketball and stuff and we don't and we don't talk about what we're really going through right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we see, but we really don't talk about it. So it's some serious shit. And I can see why the effect is so severe and why, you know, nothing is, I shouldn't be surprised by anything that happens right now.
Indeed, indeed. Well, we won't be able to go through exhaustively with that because I want to ask you about this beautiful hoodie you have on and the illustration on it. What's it called again, and who's it by?
It's by a guy by the name is Michael Solomon. It's called Balling with Flair.
Good guy. Balling with flair.
Balling with Flair.
And that's your design.
Basketball is a game of flair. You know, basketball is a game of highlights and, you know, plays and moves. It's poetry, it's dance, it's ballet, it's everything in one. And the moves on this T-shirt show you that.
I see at least 7 or so of those moves are illustrated in that. How can people get to that, Michael, and get to your artistic works?
Go to solomonartstudio.com. And all my work is there. My fashion part of my work is there. My art is on fashion to enhance the fashion. It's a new direction of mine, and I'm very hopeful that it will. It's being received very well so far. I hope it'll continue to do so.
And of course, I'm sure some of our folks will be checking you out on that. Hi, Michael Solomon. Thank you so much. You can check him at his website for his arts and illustrations and fashion. I'm Clifton Joseph. Michael Solomon's been here with me. Old Heads Talking Basketball. It's the Eglinton West Pop-Up Podcast. And Michael, until people please people like, watch, subscribe, share, and coming soon, donate. Michael, we come to that part of the thing where we're just about ready to kind of get out of here.
We need some feel good. Toronto needs some feel good right now, man. Toronto's in a tough place. Toronto fan, I feel your pain, fans.
Yes. But hold on, put your hands on the basketball and we'll make this right. And hopefully it'll turn out into bright new hallelujahs. Michael, have a great night. See you next time.
You too, bro. Take care.